And if anybody can think of anything, then bring it to the Middle River Club meeting.
Yeah.
Any good ideas on,
Sure.
without that, because none of us, like you said, whoever lives there would not like to look at it. And if we didn't take that position, what would be another position that we would take if it's once every month or something, every 2 weeks? And we have to think about where we would put the stuff, because then it's still.
Oh, it's easy to put it, right? Open that north gate and drop it there. It would be very easy for them to get it.
Oh.
That's not the issue. The issue, remember what I said prior, was say they pick it up on a Saturday and we let everybody know, I gotta let them know Tuesday, Wednesday. Guess what? They're coming Saturday, dump it Friday night. When are they gonna start dumping it? Wednesday, and then the city's gonna come, they're always looking for, a piece of whatever, and you see what the problem is. And then you have to understand, when I send the email out here, it automatically goes to the other 2 buildings. So that means they have no responsibility, and then it would fall on River Shores, but then we would have, since we have 3 votes for Middle River Club, if there's a penalty, it would have to come out of Middle River, and that will be another issue to be dealt with the 2 buildings. Yeah, Helen, oh boy, she needs a pill already. Okay, I get it, Helen.
Yeah, table.
All right, so we're gonna do nothing and leave it for Middle River Club. That's the consensus.
Yes.
Yes, but a lot of good ideas. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for that.
All right. The next issue is the stairwell slip-resistant product, and I know Jack was familiar with this much better than myself. As you see, you've been given a quote from Luis. I think in deference, it's just I'm offering my opinion, and I think you'll agree. Maybe I should let Jack take a look at it, and you can say if he thinks it's okay, because he seems to think Steve can do this.
Yeah, rather than pay someone.
So do you want to approve it, conditioned upon Jack taking a look at it? You could do that, and let him voice his opinion. It may be too much, but of course you know that why the issue. Somebody deliberately, no doubt in my mind, threw water down there and Steve took a tumble.
Yeah, I think we definitely need to do something. I just don't know if it's worth using a contractor or trying to do it kind of in-house.
I think,
Steve is, if,
I mean,
I
a
can hit you
contractor is
to-
just easier, but
well, it's not that, Steve has the ability, I just don't know if it's too much for him to
Right.
do, and I don't want to push him.
It seems it's an awful lot.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not the
Unfortunately-
first time this has been done, by the way, I'm letting you know, the sand, whatever the slip thing was. But again, if water were on this floor, or
Yeah.
water, even though that's slip resistant, you put enough the right way,
Yeah.
you're not holding on, you will, even though it's slip resistant. And what happened, this was intentionally done. In a sense, fortunately, it was Steve, because he's built, he's okay, but if somebody could have broke their neck, and that would have been the end of it.
yeah. But I thought, what about, just an idea?
Please.
You get a stack of those slip-resistant things and we, or a group of us or 2 of us go and we put them, we just take the sticky thing off and you place them on the edge there, not right on the edge, but so it's not that.
It
that big
needs
a
to be
thing.
professionally
Yeah.
done, first
Yeah.
of all. No, it's not a put down, because we had those do not step on I forgot what it says. I bought them for the laundry
Watch
rooms.
your step.
Yeah, Watcher, thank you. And they, it's gotta be put with such a glue that somebody can't, because we have people that do things they really shouldn't. So I can't discuss that. So I would say, when they actually, years ago they had that, I'm calling it sandpaper, it's not, but it's a slip-resistant commercial grade used to put on the steps. But again, if somebody throws a thing of water, and it's on the handrail, wink, wink, you get it? It is what it is.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think we should definitely
Okay.
review this.
Let Jack review it, okay.
Is this priced for all?
No,
No, this
it's
is
each.
per,
Each.
That's $17.50 for each building.
Three, yeah, times 3. Go ahead, Peg.
You might want to consider how many man-hours it's gonna take with 3 stairwells.
Oh,
And,
it's gonna take a long
Steve
time.
would not be doing other things
Yeah.
if he's tied up with
That's
this.
for sure.
I think it's
Might
too
not
big
be-
a
It's
project.
too big of a project. for
Yeah,
Steve.
It's
it
too
might
big.
not be a good idea.
I mean, I
to
could
Steve.
probably get the price down, knowing me,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, because you have to scrape, as it says here, you have to scrape all the paint off.
Right.
That's gonna take, not
It's
granted,
very tedious.
yeah, be very
It's,
tedious.
yeah,
And then you have to close the stairwell off because you're gonna use oil-based paint, so that means that's gotta get closed off.
well, Jack, if you remember, wrote the whole long thing, and I did share all that, I read it to Steve, I did share it with
Yeah.
him, so,
Yeah.
he kinda, and I said you could discuss it with Jack, and I don't know if Jack, because I know Jack is in and out during the day or something, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't you conditionally, why don't we do this? Why don't you say, let's make a motion to let Jack look it over, it may be fair price, let him, because I really don't know, but I can likely get the price down.
Yeah.
Is there a motion to let Jack and then let him offer, and then you'll agree with whatever he comes up with?
One more thing
Sure.
real quick.
Please.
Oh, never mind. Never
No, go
mind.
ahead.
I asked earlier. Okay, we're good.
Oh, we're good?
I make a motion for it.
Okay, so it's ask Jack and then let him, okay.
Yes.
Fred and Julie. The dog on number 9, the dog runway north of Avon guest parking. Fred, do you want to discuss that?
Yes, we don't have a place on the property where dogs can run and exercise. Some people take them now to the tennis courts, so that's not right, that's not good. And even though we have a beautiful piece of grass on the canal there, that's not good. So my idea was to, against the wall, up in the corner, northwest corner, is if, because I sort of cleaned that out, the bougainvilleas a little bit, trying to get them all against the wall, and now we have 10 feet wide, I think it's maybe 10 feet wide, that whole strip from the road to where River Terrace begins, their wall, their painted wall. So if we put a gate on one end, that right sort of angled where River Terrace is, where their wall begins, and we put a fence in. We have the bumpers that the cars come onto, and then there's already some blacktop, but some of them stick out over the grass. So if we go in, say 2 feet, and we have still 8 feet, and we put a fence all along that wall, but across from it, and we have that gate, then dogs can be let go there to exercise. And if we put a false grass in there, it will look good. It drains, and they put that grass in all the way around those plants, so the weeds will not be there. That's the idea.
Yeah. I wonder if we have an estimate of how much that would cost us, given everything happening?
No, not for me.
Yeah.
The idea, but I could get that, and that would be MRC or us. I wasn't sure.
Well, again, it
Yeah.
depends how you look at it, because let's go over some history to put it in perspective. So what happened, Fred was, when he was living over here upstairs in Avon, he very generously asked to put the dog stations in. And what happened, of course, I think at the time, River Bend, and I don't think River Terrace, they had dogs. And then, of course, what happened, River Bend starts coming over and uses the bags. So now that's charged off to Middle River Club, the doggy bags, because it's used by the community. And this, it's just an opinion, this would be used by the community as well, because it's only a matter of time before River Terrace gets dogs. I don't know how they've lasted this long without them. Why are you laughing? So you may wish to put this under Middle River Club, and then eventually that piece of property, since it's shared, will be shared by all, Because actually it was Peg, I'll even bring up a little history. When we had a Middle River Club board meeting, Peg asked Wally from River Terrace, well, what happens when a dog comes to visit River Terrace? And Wally said, well, we don't allow dogs at River Terrace. Well, the dog has to relieve himself, herself, it's whatever. And where is it gonna take a relief? Over at River Shores, and that's where our dog, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's consistent behavior. So you may wish to, I don't know how you think about it. Do you want to make it River Shores and then you have to stand there and say you can't use it, it's ours, like it's the parking spaces, You can't use it, those are our,
What we could do is actually make it a way to reach out to the other buildings. Put it up and put a sign. Well, please use anybody from River Shores, River Terrace, River Bend, Heather. And if you put a sign up like that, people say, oh, look, somebody's reaching out to, they may not reach out. Some people have different mindsets, but I think that will be one little step to bring the community a little bit together.
I'm just confused. How big is this thing?
It's probably as long as this room.
Oh, because I thought you said 8 foot. and I was
Wide.
like,
Oh, sorry, why?
why,
oh,
he said
wide. Oh, I was
wide.
gonna say, how the hell?
No, wide, so the dogs will run.
Okay.
I like your idea, Fred, but I'm afraid some of these dogs are antisocial.
I was gonna say, that's the
And if
only.
they get in there and they're not on leashes and there's a dog fight, who's
Yeah.
gonna go in and break it up and the dog is injured? And I see liability.
Okay, as I see it, you put a sign up that says, use at your own risk. But when you take dogs off a leash, they are much friendlier. It's when they're on leashes, they're confined, and then they have a reflex to protect. So, just information.
Yeah.
So I think when you,
I'm gonna say something. You wanna do a new project, and yet there's so many projects around here that need to be done.
yeah, but this is,
Like clean up the parking lot, clean up the pool, clean up some different things, and then start talking about all these extras.
no, this is not an extra because they live here and they have to have a quality of life.
Well, I
So-
need a quality of life too,
Just a
and I need
moment,
a decent
just a moment,
looking
just a
parking lot
moment,
and grounds.
just a moment. So that skips up in front of, oh, we need a nicer parking lot or something like that. Because it wasn't always that dogs were here. Now that they're here, we have to pay attention to them because they are live beings and they have to have.
Well, why don't we
their-
get them their own swimming pool and everything else?
Let's not
I
be
mean, I
facetious,
just
let's
made a
just,
comment.
they need the basics.
I made a comment about taking care of some of the things
Right, and
that
I-
we are paying for.
Right.
To look at the parking lot, to
And
look
we
at
would
the
be paying
pool
for that
area, to
too.
look at some of these other things that should be addressed currently, before you start talking about a dog run.
Well,
That can cause liability,
I
or can
think
cause problems.
part of why he brought this up, just to be fair, not to him or whatever, but to the issue surrounding the entire community, is when somebody lets their dog run in the tennis court, some people object to that. So he came up with that idea to alleviate
Well,
that
how about, like you
situation.
said, the grass area then, in front of where you all live, how about just?
Well,
working with
that's
that?
because they must
That's a
be
big area.
leashed. The dogs must be leashed at all times under the control of the owner while on the
Talking about letting them off.
well, that would be
Talking about
enclosed
letting them
area.
off.
That would,
Well, put a fenced-in area back there, you got a big area, lots of grass.
well, what's the difference if it's there or there? He seems to think that because of the strip, it would be easier. He said it to me, and I said, well, bring it up, because it's a strip.
And it will look better with the false grass there and keeping that cleaned up all the time, or meaning you don't have to put a lot of attention to it. You have your few big trees that look nice.
Fred, I'm very sorry, I misunderstood. Where would this be located?
Where the bulk bin was, And-
People live facing that
Never mind,
area.
Mommy, come and
And
see me.
dogs, when they tend to be loose, they're very docile, but they do bark. And people do live in that area, and if you're gonna have barking through the day and night, it makes it very unpleasant for people. We have to
Thanks for
consider the people that don't
alleviating
have dogs, and the people that have to look at it and hear it. So I think it's a good idea, but I don't think that's a good location. It was bad enough that we had that recycle bin. Now you're talking about a dog run, and it's gonna be a nightmare.
Okay, information, when you let dogs loose, like at the
They
dog
bark
park.
like crazy. We have
Like-
dog runs in New York. I've been to them a number of times where the dogs are loose. The barking can drive anybody mad.
Okay. All right. We'll look more into that, or if you have an idea of another place.
Yeah, that's
But-
best. Away from where people live. That's the most,
Yeah, we're sort of limited there, so that's what I thought would be a good place, sort of out of the way.
right.
Okay, so I'll look.
Well, the only thing is, as I mentioned, it's not about, it was trying to alleviate one issue with them in the tennis court. So,
Or pool.
well, they don't run around the pool, they run at the tennis court.
Right.
So, that's what I seem to recall was the conversation. So, the dogs are here, we can't get rid of them legally.
That's what I was
So,
thinking. Maybe, who knows?
as a result, this was a try to fix it in a different way situation. So I don't think it would even cost that much, a little picket fence and the artificial grass.
Chain link,
Oh, chain link?
yeah,
Oh, well, yeah, okay, whatever.
yeah, so they can't get out either.
Yeah, and as far as them fighting, I don't think, if somebody's using it, that you just want the dog to exercise, right? It doesn't have to be shared, right? It's not a requirement. It's not like a playpen with kids, Well, I don't know, I don't have a dog.
Meaning you could go in as a dog owner too.
Right.
And be with your pet, or let them, that's a question I also have, letting them off the leash. Right now, we have a rule that they cannot be off the leash. which
No,
is-
that's a county law.
Okay.
They must be under the direct control of the owner at all times. That's not a rule, it's an actual Broward County ordinance, whatever.
And because I don't know, if we have dog parks outside of here, they can do it, so we
Now, I
could,
don't know, I don't have a dog, so
Yeah,
Julie
so-
has a dog, ask her.
we could inquire a little bit of, first, can we
Right.
do it? If it's,
Yeah,
All right.
right, you wonder if the town will allow it,
Yeah.
yeah,
and what kind of things in a dog park, if there's restrictions.
Yeah.
I'm
So
sure,
that's-
But they
so
have
that's-
dog runs, right, Julie? I mean, I'm guessing, I don't know. I don't go to a park with the dog. Do they have, whether you let the dog off the leash and it runs in
Yeah, it's fenced in.
it's fenced in? Okay, that's what I thought, yeah, because I think I remember you saying that to me.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you, good point, some stuff I didn't think of, so thank you.
Yeah, I think, it's like legality, but too, I do think, there are projects that, I don't know how much it would cost at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
I feel like we can kind of, work on these few items and then maybe just we bring it back up in a little bit of time and see.
We could put it on the Middle River Club agenda if you'd like, because it's really going to be shared. It's like the
Yeah,
boat.
it's gonna be shared.
It's going to, it's a community, they exist. To say, it's like Peg said to Wally, well, what happens when you have somebody visiting with the dog? It exists. You bring dogs in churches, you bring them in restaurants and
Yeah.
supermarkets, they drive cars, I see them on people's laps. I wouldn't do it, but, whatever. Okay, so basically, the bottom line is, folks, you're in agreement. Fred's gonna look more into it and we can put it on the Middle River Club agenda?
Yes.
Yes.
Fred, okay, so you're in agreement.
Yep.
The final issue is Steve and Basil review. This Jack brought up, I don't know if you have a comment, or I sent you the information, you all have the information available to you. Do you want to add, subtract, amend, change, what would you like? Go ahead.
I don't know, I think it's fair based on the latest update.
Okay.
But I think it's fair as is.
Okay. Helen?
Oh, I think it's very fair,
Mhm.
especially for
try to be.
Basil, what he,
Uh,
what he
it-
puts up with and what he does.
Yes,
He deserves every penny.
absolutely. Fred?
Sure. I think
It's
it's
fine,
good
everything's
the way it's-
fine.
Yeah.
Leave everything be. Okay, one other thing, I'm